Well, federal prosecutors covered a lot of ground today. They got a difficult witness to agree that he did tell a federal grand jury that Bernard Kilpatrick said, quote, Coleman Young got paid, I'm going to get paid too. But perhaps the most damaging testimony focused on Bobby Ferguson today. Bobby Ferguson celebrated the Tigers' victory by showing his team spirit on his way into federal court today, but he may not be celebrating now. What did you think about what they said? Three sisters took the stand today and told the jury about money orders Ferguson gave them to sign that ended up in Kwame Kilpatrick's campaign coffers. The Fed started with Renee Newsom, who says she dated Ferguson for about 7 years. Ferguson, the former Detroit mayor, Bernard Kilpatrick, and ex-Water Department Director Victor Mercado are all on trial facing racketeering charges, accused of running a criminal enterprise out of City Hall. Newsom testified about 4 different money orders she signed that totaled $3,400, the maximum an individual can donate to a political campaign. She told the jury Ferguson had paid for the money orders and that when she signed them, they were blank. She said someone later wrote them out to Kilpatrick for mayor. Next, her sisters, Josephine Johnson and Darlene Jefferson, said the same thing about $3,400 in Ferguson-funded money orders that they each signed. When Newsom testified that after the FBI started asking questions, Ferguson told her to say the money was hers and to stick to her story. But Ferguson's attorney Gerald Evelyn pressed Newsom on whether she was told to do that for the federal grand jury or whether that was for a hearing in front of the state gaming board. She then said she thought it was for the gaming board. That could make a difference for an obstruction charge Ferguson is facing. Also today, John Rutherford faced cross-examination about the hundreds of thousands of dollars he gave to Kwame Kilpatrick and his various campaign and nonprofit funds. Federal prosecutors say Rutherford was bribing the former mayor. But when Kilpatrick attorney Jim Thomas asked Rutherford if Kilpatrick forced him to give that money, Rutherford said no. The feds say Rutherford gave about 80 grand to Ernest Johnson's Community Coalition political fund for Kilpatrick's first mayoral race. Johnson testified that it's common practice for whoever his group endorses to pay the poll workers. In this case, federal prosecutors say Bernard Kilpatrick got Rutherford to foot that bill.
I got the check for the $8,000 and then I went out and cashed it at the market and then paid my workers.
Now, we all know Detroit's former mayor is a very snappy dresser. Well, his suits continue to be part of the testimony in this trial. Coming up tonight on 7 Action News at 6, I'll tell you what Kilpatrick did for some new suits while he was on an overseas trip. Joanne and Glenda.